All right. We good? Okay, nerds, we're doing it. I would like to start this episode off with a song, if that's okay. I'm reaching out for you, reaching so deep for you, 'cause you're the instructions to my frozen meal that I threw away prematurely. Oh, I need you, but you're in my garbage can. Oops. I did not rehearse that. I think we're doing it. I don't know. It's just me these days. I don't have a producer. Kevin doesn't step up and do jack anything. So I guess it's just me. And I'm sick. Yes! Yes, yes, yes. Love being sick. Oh, gosh. So I spent a week in Los Angeles. Von Bolt, my band, was performing at the Whisky A Go Go for 2 nights, which is so rad. It was so much fun. We opened up for Doyle from the Misfits. And it was such a blast. But like, who'd have thought that hanging around, in a somewhat dirty venue on the Sunset Strip would cause me to get a virus. But you know what? It's better than syphilis, which I'm sure is what most people are getting at the whiskey. Oh my gosh, I sound so stuffed up. Oh, jeez. I have Kleenex here for just those extra sexy moments during this particular episode where I just gotta, So yeah, I'm stuffier than a British Tea Party. I'm stuffier than, what's his name? I'm stuffier than Prince Charles's coronation. Yep. Stuffier than people who pronounce it croissant in America. Just say croissant. You go to France, you can say croissant all you want. Say it all you want in France. Say croissant. Just croissant it up in France. But here, just say croissant. Do the R and the T. Don't stick a W in there. We don't need a W. Just go croissant. No croissant. No croissant. Croissant. Okay, well, I'm shooting during the day today, which I usually shoot at night. And that's when the Kevins come out. But they're lazy as crap, and so they sleep during the day. So I don't know if they're going to be here. They might be here. They might not. I prefer that they not be here. Anyway, we're trying a new camera setup. Before I was just filming it on my phone to keep it up and down, portrait we'll call it, because that's the way of the world, everything's up and down, everything's portrait. So I'm like, let's just film it portrait. But then you got YouTube, man, and YouTube's like, I want it wide, I want it big, I want it small up and down, and I want it wide side to side, okay? And then you got Spotify, and they're like, we also want it wide side to side and small up and down. And then you got TikTok, and then you got TikTok and Instagram. We're like, we want it small on the sides and we want it tall up and down. And I'm like, guys, how am I supposed to keep up with all this, I'm just one person who can barely make anything work. I could barely attach my camera to my tripod 10 minutes ago. It nearly brought me to tears. I'm not even joking. How does it click on? It was just on there. Please help me. I don't know what to do. I had to make 3 phone calls, but it's fine. I'm a smart, independent woman. Is that what I'm supposed to be? Every day I'm working on it. I'm even using a new audio recording software because mine, the license expired just yesterday, and I didn't know that, and I tried to reactivate it and give them money, and they said, great, we'll take your money, but then we're not going to activate your program because I guess it's just we're mean. I guess we're mean like that. So they took my money and they didn't activate my program. And was I pissed? Yes. So mad. So super mad. But you know what? We move on. We move past it. We don't get hung up because that's what this show's all about, right? Because I suffer with, what is it? Let's say it together. Perfectionism. I suffer from perfectionism. Everything in my life has to be perfect. I have to be perfect. Like right now, I'm sweating through my shirt because my air conditioning is broken. And I'm worried. I'm worried that sweat is going to come through the fabric of my thin shirt like it did in episode 1. And that made me so mad. Did it make me so mad? Yes, it made me so mad. But you know what? That's perfectionism rearing its ugly head. And we're trying to get past that. And here I am just fidgeting like a mofo. But anyway, yeah, we're sick and we're stuffy. And we're stuffy. We're as stuffy as people who say croissant and not croissant. But we're getting through it. We're working through it. Okay, so Von Bolt, that's my band. We rock, and you should look up our music immediately. Let me finish this episode first and then look up the music. Oh, so sniffly. But we were awesome, and we played the Whisky A Go Go, which is a legendary venue in Los Angeles. And as I was there at this venue in Los Angeles partying, I didn't really party the first night because I was trying to be responsible because I knew we had to perform a second night. But the second night, I was not responsible, not even one bit. That responsibleness, new word, great. That responsibleness just went pew, pew. I could just see it like... It was in me. It was like, oh, I'm so responsible. And then I could see it just like, it's bubbling up. It's bubbling up. And then just like, pew! Like out both of my eye sockets. Just like, pew! It's gone. No longer responsible. Let's do it. Let's party. And we did shots and I drank too many beers. And I reached a new level of Can I please start over? I reached a new level of social awkwardness. Yay! Yay me! Yay, go me! So I like to drink. Your girl likes to drink. You know that. Not to excess. Occasionally to excess, but not in an addictive way. I do not have an addictive personality. I can quit anytime I want. But your girl did a new thing, where I drank too much and then I proceeded to talk to like every girl at the bar, and mid-conversation I just started petting them. I started petting their head and telling them that their hair was soft. And I did that to probably 12 girls, and I meant it so genuinely. I really did. I'm like, you know when you're drinking and you're like mid-conversation and you're listening so hard. But then there's a moment where you're just like something else has entered. Like I need to go. I need to do this. Butterflies exist. What's my cat doing? Oh my gosh, why is my skin tingly? Just something enters. And the thing that entered during my drunk conversations was she needs to know that her hair is soft. And I'm going to be the one to tell her. So I would talk to these girls and then they'd be in the middle of a sentence and I'd just, so soft, so tender. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, your hair is so soft. And I wasn't lying. It was so soft every time. And I felt like they needed to know that. And I bet they talked about me the next morning. And they're like, remember that girl who was petting everyone? What's that all about? Because I certainly... I thought about it. I thought about it a lot because not only does your girl suffer from perfectionism, she suffers from anxiety. Yes! And I think about everything way too much. If somebody is mad at me for any reason, just forget about that week. I will not accomplish anything. I will only be obsessing about whoever is mad at me and how I can fix it. And how I can make it never happen again, and then researching space-time continuum and time machines, and how can I go back and fix it? I never can, and then I cry about that, and then I don't sleep at all. So yeah, like after I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have this, but I'll go out for a night of drinking, and I'm like the most positive, nice drunk. Like I'm super nice. I just want to compliment people and tell them that they're pretty and tell them that their hair is soft. But then I go to sleep at night and I'm like, man, I would really love to just conk conk right out right now. And my brain's like, really? Oh, you want to go to sleep right now? That's so cute. Well, I have a better idea. What if I replayed the entire night for you in 8K? And then all the worst parts, I just rewound them like 85 times. And you watch them over and over and over and over. And that's what happens. And then I don't sleep no matter how tired I am because I'm so worried about all the things that I said while I was out and while I was partying. But yeah, anyway, the moral of the story is that I thought that I had experienced the top level of social awkwardness, and I, boom, I bust through the ceiling like that last scene in the original Willy Wonka when they're like, what does he even say? Something about the elevator, and he's like, he's so worried, right? He's like, when is this elevator gonna stop? And then he says something cheeky like, wouldn't you like to know? And then glass ceiling break. I wonder if that is where that term came from. Shattering the glass ceiling. This came from Willy Wonka. Sweating so much right now. Worried about it. Worried that my shirt is showing all my sweat. But it's fine. Perfectionism. We're battling it. Every day it's a battle. For Frodo! So anyway, I thought that I'd experience that top level, but man, there's more rungs on that ladder, isn't there? I think that ladder just goes right up to space, that social awkward ladder. And every day, you just never know when that new rung's going to be discovered. And I discovered one at the Whisky A Go Go in Los Angeles. When does it end? How long is the ladder? We'll never know. I assume that we just, me and you and everybody else who suffers from this social awkwardness, we just keep climbing the ladder, just rung after rung after rung, and then we get to the top, and we've just done all the damage that we're capable of doing. And I think we float off into space because we're finally free, and we're floating, and we're smiling because we're free, and then our head explodes inside our helmet. Oh, like you're a blissful astronaut. You let go. You're free from the evil grips of Earth, and you're floating through space, and you're smiling because you're finally free, and this is the first time you've ever felt real freedom. And then your head explodes inside your helmet, and then there's just brains and guts inside, and that's how it all ends. What's up, Kevin? Oh, he's mad because I have stuff on his shelf. Come on. Yeah, come on up. There's room. The people want to see you. Your chair's over there, bro. Your chair's over there. Go, dude. Here, I'll move my Kleenex box so you can, do your thing. Come on up. So, another thing I did while I was partying, drinking too much at the Whisky A Go Go, is we have this incredible, if you can hear that, that's the automatic dog feeder just interrupting my thought. It's fine. We move on. We move on. We battle a perfectionism. We don't care that there's outside noises messing up everything. We move on. Anyway, we have this incredible member of our band named Kenji, and he's a tap dancer. He's like, I used to say I was the best tap dancer that I ever met, but he's the best tap dancer I've ever met, ever. Gosh, he's so incredible. And we do a cover of Hound Dog, and he comes out and he tap dances, and it just blows people's minds. I mean, can you imagine? Like, you're drinking and partying, and you're at like a metal show, and then a tap dancer comes out, and he's like the coolest tap dancer you've ever seen. Not even just the coolest tap dancer, just like the coolest man you've ever seen. He's like 7 feet tall. Just so slick, so cool. We love Kenji. Where was I going with this? Oh, so we're all hanging out and partying after the second Whisky A Go Go show. And I don't even know how it happened, but somehow we all started signing the underside of his tap board. He has like a wooden tap board. And we all started like signing it. And I was like, I got this. And I signed it, and I wrote an entire sentence. And I have no idea what it is. And boy, have I thought about that every 6 minutes since it happened. I also, my anxiety keeps me from calling him and being like, hey, can you just like let me know what I wrote in permanent marker on the underside of your tab board? But what if it's too embarrassing? What if it's so horrible that like I just never want to talk about it again, and it's better if we all just move on? But I love you, Kenji, and I'm sorry about whatever I wrote on your tab board. I hope it was nice. I'm a very nice partier and drinker, so I'm sure it's nice. But man, there are probably some misspelled words in there, and I'm gonna be super upset about that. I'm just like, I think in general, I really need to work at being a rock star. I need some help with this rock star lifestyle and image, because, so God bless my band, right? They believe in me more than I believe in myself. They are like, hey, there's a couple times between songs where we need to switch out things. You know, musicians, they always got to fiddle and fuss with stuff. We got to fuss with some buttons. We got to fuss with some buttons. We got to fuss with some knobs. We got to fix the guitar. We got to turn the things. We got to fuss. We're going to fuss on stage with all the things to fuss with. And while we're fussing, you need to talk to the crowd with the microphone. And I'm like, oh, no, I don't. And they're like, yeah, you do. I'm like, no, you don't want me talking to this crowd. It's going to be bad. Whatever it is, it's going to be awkward and bad and weird. Please, if I don't have a script and a teleprompter and like I haven't rehearsed it 25 times, it's going to be bad. And they're like, no, it's fine. Just do it. So I did. And I actually did a pretty good job, and I'm proud of myself. So the first night, we had an issue where poor James, our lead singer, who's incredible, is supposed to be center stage because that's where a lead singer should be. They put him all the way on the right hand, stage right. And he was like tethered over there. You know the whole like, don't put baby in a corner? They put baby in a corner. And that made me mad. I was on a wireless mic, so I'm like, guess I gotta wander. I'm gonna wander throughout the show. I'm gonna say things, and I'm gonna be a rock star because my poor band is chained to the sides of the stage where they shouldn't be. I'm the only one who's free. I'm the only one William Wallacing it up here, you know? So I did. So I wandered, and I went to this side of the stage. I went to this side of the stage. I hopped up on the drum riser in the back. Turns out, definitely not supposed to do that. It's a huge no-no. Yeah, I was really feeling it in the moment. I was feeling jumping up on the drum riser and like singing to the audience, Billy Joe Armstrong style. We have a song called Shame. I was shouting shame. I was getting everybody to say shame, shame, shame. And then I came off stage and I was told, yeah, that's a huge faux pas. Don't ever do that again. You might get us banned from this venue and all venues. Riley's here, everybody. Yay, Riley's here. Yay. More animals invading the show. We love it. I know. Good dog, good dog, good dog. But anyway, so I get the mic, and I'm feeling so confident. And I say things to the crowd, and they're responding, and everything's good. But every time I say something, in the back of my mind, I immediately think, should I have said that? And this is why I have a problem. So at one point, I yelled to the crowd, "What's up? We're raising the dead here on the Sunset Strip." And they're like, yeah. But in my head, I'm like, is that disrespectful? Because of how many people have died on the Sunset Strip, including inside the Whisky A Go Go. Lots of people have died in here due to drugs and alcohol, and they died. And I just said, we're raising the dead. Is that really disrespectful? Should I have not said that? And then follow up, is this even the Sunset Strip? Is this venue on the Sunset Strip? I just said we were on the Sunset Strip. Are we on the Sunset Strip? Geographically, are we in the right place? Like anyone even cared. Like the crowd would be out there being like, boo, this isn't the Sunset Strip. Boo, technically, it ends at San Vicente. This is the San Vicente Strip, you idiot. Like, who's doing that? They would not have done that. But overthink is the way of life. This is the way. We overthink. And that's great. What else? What are we at? Oh, we're at 20 minutes. Okay, I'm trying to keep these around 25. I ran a little short last time. But we're trying to keep it at 25. You know why? Because this is a short drive podcast. That's what I'm going for. You got your long drive podcasts. You got your Joe Rogans. You got your, most of them, like Theo Vaughn, like all my favorite ones. They go for an hour or more. And those are the ones where you're like, I'm going to be in the car for a while. Let's click this on. Let's have a road mate. He'll be my buddy. And we'll go for like over an hour. But what about short drives? What about your short, like little, 20-minute drives? That's me. I'm your short drive podcast girl. I'm here for you. But a lot of you have been asking if I would tell some all that stories on this podcast. And yes, absolutely, I will. I had a podcast before called And a Bag of Chips, where I pretty much exclusively talked about 90s things and Nickelodeon and all that fun stuff. And I know you guys have been missing that. You've been hitting me up. You're like, yo, what happened to your old podcast? We missed the old podcast. Can we have some of that in the new one? Heck yes, you can. Here we go, coming at you. But the thing is, I have not planned out any of my Nickelodeon stories. Like, I'm not going to plan them out. They're just going to come to me as I'm here, because I have so many of them. Wouldn't you rather have me talk about them organically? Wow, just listening to the sound of my own nasally voice. I'm so sorry that you guys have to hear me being this sick, but that's the way it is, I get sick constantly. Our poor guitar player, Darren, he gets sick more than anyone that I know, like deathly ill. And if I just got a simple cold from the whiskey, he's probably dead right now. The next episode of this podcast will probably be a memorial episode to Darren, who couldn't survive 2 nights of the whiskey because of his House of Cards-like immune system. You meowed in the middle of that. You throw me off, right, when you meow at me? If you could just shut up, that'd be cool. That'd be great. Oh, what are you doing? Okay, Kevin's here. Kevin's back, everyone. Yay, we love Kevin. You're supposed to be asleep. I figured if I recorded the episode in the middle of the day that you would be asleep and you wouldn't come bother me. But here you are. All right, all that story. That's what we're here for. Can you please, Kevin, okay. All right, the first funny all that story that comes to mind is when Debbie Gibson was on our show as a special guest. Debbie Gibson was, I believe, an 80s pop star. And they brought her on as a musical guest for our show. And I was stoked. I love like old school music. And I was always, even as a kid, I always really liked old school comedies and like older music and classic rock. And I was never familiar with the current pop artists that came on our show, which is a shame because now looking back, there are so many artists that like I didn't know who they were and I didn't really care. And now I do know who they are and I do care. And I'm like, dang, I wasted that opportunity. Like when P. Diddy came on the show, I had no idea who P. Diddy was. I didn't know any of his songs. He was super nice, but like I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, this is just a dude. He kissed me on the cheek. I thought that was gross. And I think there's a clip of me somewhere at the end of the All That episode, P. Diddy kissing me on the cheek, me like maybe wincing a little bit because I'm like, ew, like a guy kissed me. That's gross. And now I look back just like, oh my gosh, like P. Diddy? What? You brat? You ignorant little brat? What is P. Diddy? Come on. Just these huge celebrities. But I did know who Debbie Gibson was, just a little bit, I knew of her. But she came and she performed on the show and she was awesome. And usually when a celebrity comes and performs on the show, like performs a song, they also get to be in one of our comedy sketches. So she did her song and she was great. And then they also put her in a sketch called Bucket Man. He was a superhero who had a bucket over his head and he couldn't see, so he caused all sorts of blind destruction. Nickelodeon. It was a great sketch, actually, really funny. So she was in it, and she played, gosh, what was she? She was just like, it was at like a supermarket, right? So like Bucket Man comes into the supermarket, causes all sorts of mayhem. At one point like throws a paper bag, and I think it like hits her in the head, and she had like a line or two, and then that was the end of it. And then we go and we watch all the episodes on TV, and they never aired her performance. For some reason, they never aired her musical performance on all that. I don't know why. I don't know if it was contracts or rights or what, but they didn't air her performance, but they did air the sketch that she was in. Right? So, and I don't think they kept her lines. I think they edited out whatever lines she had. I could be wrong, and I'd love to go back and check, but they don't put our episodes anywhere on streaming, and I'm not bitter about it, but it's totally fine. But I think she didn't have any lines. So if you look at it, Debbie Gibson was just an extra in one of our sketches, and that's it. Like, poor Debbie Gibson. They didn't air her musical performance. They didn't keep her lines, but they did keep her as like an extra, as just an extra in one of our sketches. I mean, a little disrespectful, but I can't really comment on it. I don't know the behind the scenes details about the contracts and the rights and a super loud motorcycle. I don't know if you can hear that. There's always contracts and disputes and rights. It's all about rights, right? Everybody wants the thing that belongs to them and my rights. Everybody just like gets so mucky about it. But yeah, anyway, so there's an all that story for you. Debbie Gibson was an extra in one of our sketches. And I know that no kids who were like of the demographic age of all that at the time would have blinked an eye at it. They would have been like, oh yeah, she's just like a girl in the sketch. But can you imagine parents watching that sketch being like, is that Debbie Gibson? Just that girl standing in the background who just got hit in the head with a paper bag? Is that Debbie? Is that Debbie Gibson? They don't acknowledge it at all. They didn't once say that's Debbie Gibson. She's just there and then she's gone. That probably confused a handful of parents. Just a handful. But yeah, I always really enjoyed that story. And I always wanted to apologize to Debbie Gibson because I thought you were awesome. And thank you so much for being on our show. And I'm so sorry that we edited you out. I've also been edited out of shows in the past. So I feel your pain, although I was not a huge celebrity when it happened. So I'm sure it's much more disrespectful on your level. But anyway, okay, so I'm sick and I'm stuffed up, but you guys watched anyway. Thank you so much. We did it. Yay! Woo! Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify. Spotify is kind of like my main hub. I'm also uploading on YouTube. Now that we got the wide screen, maybe you guys will be more into that. But thank you guys for supporting and listening and putting up with me and Kevin and Riley and all the things. Love you guys. Bye. Why is it paused? Portrait. No, I don't want it.